What's happening, LEGO fans? Welcome back. Alex here. In this video, we will be building the new Daily Bugle LEGO set. This is set number 76178. Contains 3,772 pieces and retails for $300 US. This behemoth of a set contains 25 minifigures as well. What we're going to do is a time-lapse build, a quick review, and find a spot for downstairs in the LEGO City. So let's go ahead and get started. And here it is, guys. The Daily Bugle is complete. This took about maybe 5.5 hours to put together from start to finish. This thing is just loaded with details both inside and out. What I'd like to do is start with the exterior before we go on to the interior. Actually, before we do any of that, let's take a look at the vehicles that come with this set. You get two vehicles. One is a New York City cab, as well as a Spider-Man buggy, adding to the playability of this amazing looking set. Now, as far as the exterior details of this thing go, it has a lot of these white clear windows, and that's going to be your more repetitive part of the build, but even that didn't seem too tedious to me. Now, my favorite feature of this thing has definitely got to be that red fire escape. I think that looks fantastic, and I love the choice in color because they could have gone with black. And that would have just, I don't know, that would have looked really boring compared to the light gray of the building. But it really makes the eye follow it up to the top of the building, to the roof where we have that massive marquee of the Daily Bugle, a very simple but very effective design. At the very top, we have that massive antenna adding really a lot of height to the building, as well as that large water tower. Now, my least favorite thing about this thing has got to be how the dimensions of the first two levels don't continue on to the third and fourth level. They have this walkout in the back, and I think it looks great. It does look good, but I really wish that continuity of the dimensions went all the way up and down, but that's just a personal choice for me. I won't knock it for anything like that. It still looks fantastic. On the exterior of it, there's a lot of these screens that are running the news 24/7. This, of course, is a news building, so that's got to be going on. You're also going to see certain points around the building that you can connect your minifigure villains or heroes to make it look like they're jumping or flying around the building. Now, something that not a lot of people know about with this thing is that it's sort of a glorified modular building. You see, both sides are compatible to attach to modular buildings, but this thing doesn't come apart the same way as your traditional modular building does. Because it's so very tall, getting your hand inside at the top is going to be very, very difficult because it's so skinny. So what the designer did was allow a way for you to remove the front of these top 3 levels to allow you access inside the building, which I think is just fantastic. Now, when we go to the very bottom, the main floor doesn't have the facade pop out. There's a little bit of space to get through the top, but what's cool about the main floor is that there's this section of wall that is removable. It's a play feature that looks like the wall is being blown out by a villain to get inside, but it's also a nice little access door for you to get your hand inside should you need to grab any of your minifigures. Another added feature about this thing is that on these top 3 levels, you don't need to remove a level or roof above it to get inside. You can just simply pop out the facade to get inside without having to remove the levels above it, which is a pretty darn cool feature. Now, in the 3rd floor here, we have the Green Goblin just flying through the front windows here in this fiery explosion and glasses shattering everywhere. And as cool as it is seeing this thing frozen in time like that, when I put this in my city, I really don't want to have any destruction happening to my Daily Bugle. I just want it to be kind of like just another day in the city. Now, when I was building it, the instruction book didn't have any instructions on how to put it together as just a normal window, but I think all the pieces are there to do so. What I'd like to do is take this off and let's just see if we can actually put this together as a normal window, because that's of course what I'd like to do before we put it in the city. All right, guys, well, the good news is that, yes, you can put together a very nice, consistent looking window. Let's go ahead and put this wall back on here. And didn't have to go downstairs to steal any pieces, so I like that. That's good. I mean, you expect that. Now, if you guys already knew this, that's great. I didn't. This is all new to me. Unfortunately, though, if you do want it to be nice and clean, looking like this without any explosions, you do have some extra pieces to deal with, so that might not be something you're very fond of. So maybe that's why you'd want to have the Green Goblin forever busting through the facade of your Daily Bugle. But for me, this is what I'm looking for. Let's move now to the interior of this building. This thing is full of great details on the inside. We'll start on the main floor. There is this sliding door on the way in. I like that touch. And then on the inside, you have the reception desk as well as a waiting area. And I love that red soda machine there in the back corner. Now you'll also notice in the other corner, there is what looks like an elevator. That is actually not a real elevator. It is just simply what looks like an elevator. And every single floor on this building has elevator doors, or what look like elevator doors, in that same back corner. Meaning that, hey, maybe they're creating a way for you to add an elevator of your own later on. However, what may make that difficult is the issue that I didn't like earlier about the dimensions of the top 2 levels. You see, the elevator doors are not in the same place as the elevator doors in the first 2 floors. So that may make that particularly challenging should you ever want to do that. But regardless, it is a nice touch. We move now to the 2nd floor. This is the bullpen, which is the beating heart of the Daily Bugle's news operations, where you might catch the team of journalists working on a Spider-Man front page scandal, or just helping themselves to some donuts. We move now to the 3rd level, and this is where you're going to find a photographer by the name of Peter Parker, who's trying really hard to get some pictures of the Spider-Man. Now, and here's a nice touch because we have a large spider on the wall as well as a big spider web there up above. This is the floor that actually has the nice walkout. So even though it's a little smaller than the first 2 levels, you do have this door out back where you can get some fresh air. And then onto the top floor, you'll find our editor, J. Jonah Jameson, calling the shots. Best to stay out of his way. He can be a bit grouchy, which is surprising because look at that really nice office, a very nice executive looking office there at the top, and a nice looking receptionist area to boot. Alright guys, let's talk minifigures. If you love getting a lot of minifigures with your LEGO purchase, well, this is the set for you because the Daily Bugle comes with 25 minifigures. That is just a crazy amount, from superheroes to villains to just common folk. Here they all are. So I'm going to take a deep breath and let's name all of them that this thing comes with. And here we have Spider-Man, the original web-slinging wonder. Venom, dark, dangerous villain with alien origins. Carnage, powerful alien enemy of Spider-Man and Venom. Spider-Ham, aka Peter Porker, part pig, part spider, all hero. Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy's all-action alter ego. Miles Morales, an alternate universe Spider-Man with awesome abilities. Dr. Octopus, villain with a deadly combo of brains and tentacles. Gwen Stacy, Peter's college crush and ghost spider alias. Mysterio, poisonous villain known for conjuring nasty surprises. Sandman, a tricky villain with shape-shifting powers. Green Goblin, freaky villain with an explosive bag of tricks. Peter Parker, Bugle photographer and the guy behind that mask. Bugle editor with a Spidey-shaped soft spot. Black Cat, a nimble, cunning criminal with sticky paws. Betty Brant, Bugle staff member and romantic interest of Peter. J. Jonah Jameson, grizzly Bugle editor with a Spider-Man grudge. Aunt May, Peter Parker's loving and unsuspecting auntie. Blade, fierce, merciless hunter of vampires and monsters. The Punisher, brutal, unforgiving vigilante. Bad guys beware. Ben Urich, Bugle reporter, always first with the big stories. Firestar, mutant hero with ability to conjure fire. Daredevil, crime-fighting hero with superhuman senses. And our civilians, Bernie the cab driver, Amber Grant, and Ron Barney. So now you know all the minifigures that come with a Daily Bugle. Now I will say that most of these minifigures for me will probably end up in my display case because, man, there's so many of them, it'll be hard to fit them all into this building. But that is a good problem to have. Now, there are a couple of minifigures in this who really get the special treatment, in my opinion. Now, Sandman really gets some cool special treatment with his prop here that makes it look like he's being propelled out of the ground with a bunch of concrete slabs being thrown every which way. I will also say that Firestar looks really cool here at the top of the Bugle with this fiery launch shooting through the sky is pretty darn cool. Let's take a quick look at the instruction booklet. Just one booklet with this thing, pretty thick book as you would expect. Open up the front cover here and we have the Bugle tour that you can read through. And it's all kind of put together as like you're reading a newspaper. Pretty funny, right? You have a quick bio of all of the minifigures that come with this set. And here we have the process of building the Bugle as well. A lot of other goodies in here. I like that they do this. A lot of fun goodies and treats they put into the building instructions is always kind of fun to read through before you build it. And then in the build itself, pretty straightforward. At the very end here, nothing crazy or special, just an inventory of all of the pieces that come with your Bugle. And that is the instruction booklet. Whew, wow, what an amazing set. This thing is incredible. Now I know $300 is a lot of money to throw at a Lego set, but this thing actually has a lot of value, a lot of fun playability with this thing, and just the minifigures alone really make this thing worth it in my opinion. Now guys, it is my favorite part of the video, and that is taking this thing downstairs and finding a spot for it in the Lego City. Let's go ahead and do that now. And here we are downstairs, and for the great reveal, it is right there, the downtown area, right in the middle of it all. The Daily Bugle takes its spot in the city of Minneapolis, and I gotta say it looks really good among the skyline. Now, I did play around with moving it where the police station is right there, right next to the Shmu Tower. Ultimately, I decided to move it here a little bit further away. I think it looks a little bit better there, and as always, that area will continue to evolve, but for now, pretty happy with the placement. 11 of the 25 minifigures stayed with the building. The other 14 I decided to put in this display case. Let me open this thing up so you can see that a little bit without that annoying glare. So there is the top shelf full of the extras, mixed with some other minifigures that I had in there previously. So they're right there. And this thing is, wow, it's getting pretty darn full. But regardless, really happy with kind of the double score. A big building for my Lego City and a lot of cool minifigures to add to my display case. So that's it. That is the build, review, and placement of the new Marvel, the Daily Bugle. Let me know what you guys think of this set, if you'll be picking it up, and maybe picking a couple up. Making a huge Daily Bugle would be pretty cool as well. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that myself. Time will tell. But that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.